Good morning. Happy Sabbath, everybody. Our verse this morning is Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Knowledge is a blessing. Learning about the things we need to know for health is wonderful. We're sorry we can't be there today. You know, most everybody is scared these days. They're scared of COVID. They're scared of other people. They're scared of their neighbors, their fellow citizens. They're even scared of their friends. I'm not scared of COVID. I live in a relationship with Jesus, and the Bible says perfect love casts out fear. I also try to eat right, take my supplements, and leave the rest with God. I've offered myself to service to Him, and I leave my life in His hands. But I want each of you and your families to stay healthy and not to get COVID. As most of you know, when we're in Cleburne, we help at Bernard's Family's health food store. There are always sick people coming in, even before COVID, that needed help. So we've always been in direct or indirect contact with sickness and disease, but we've never worried. And the reasons is because we trust God and we also try to take care of ourselves. God has told us to be the healthiest, we need to be vegetarians. My advice to you, especially now with this COVID situation, is to toss the meat. Get on a vegetarian diet. Eat the rainbow. In other words, eat all the colorful vegetables and fruits you can find. Those colorful foods are rich in vitamins, enzymes, and nutrients to keep you healthy or to regain your health if you need to. Eat some raw fruits and veggies every day. You can get plenty of protein from the beans, peas, nuts, and seeds. And this is not a monotonous diet. It will help your immune system stay strong so it can fight off viruses and disease. Enjoy those nutrient-dense foods like sweet potatoes, blueberries, beets, kale, garlic, etc. that are so good for you. And lay off the sugar, especially now. We heard the other day that any time you eat anything containing high fructose corn syrup, which is in so many of the prepared foods, it inactivates the vitamin D in your body. That vitamin D helps your body kill viruses. Do you want to inactivate the virus killers? Not me. Eating or drinking too much sugar curbs your immune system cells that attack bacteria. I know it's Christmas, but now is not a good time to load up on sweets. We need to get a good night's sleep. We all have a night or two occasionally when we don't sleep. But get in bed and stay there. Whether or not your brain is asleep, your body needs the rest. It will eventually realize it needs sleep too. I've always been more of a night owl than an early to bed person, but I've learned that every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 after that. So if you crawl in bed by 9 and sleep 7 or 8 hours, you're doing yourself a world of good. I have friends who don't go to bed until 1 or 2 in the morning, and they miss out on all the great morning hours and can't seem to get anything accomplished. So when it's dark, go to bed. Your body will be glad. During the day, exercise, work out, or walk so that you increase your heart rate. Getting out in the woods, where the pine, cedar, and fir trees are, boosts your immune system for a week. I hadn't heard that before, but that Sabbath afternoon walk in the woods provides benefits that can help you all week long. You can even pick some of the cedar or pine branches in the woods and use them for decorations. They smell nice and you get health benefits too. Sunshine is another way to get vitamin D through exposed skin contact. And this time of year, it's hard to do that unless you live in the southern hemisphere or much closer to the equator, because we have too many cold and cloudy days. And one of the doctors from Loma Linda said, you get your eucalyptus essential oil, put it in a diffuser, and get it in your room, especially if you have lung problems. Lowering your stress levels is important. Chronic stress exposes your body to a steady stream of stress hormones that suppresses the immune system. Learn to laugh. Watch or read something you find funny. Laughing boosts white blood cell count, and that fights infection. Having strong relationships and a good social network is good for your health, physically and emotionally. Studies show that people who feel connected to friends, whether few or many, have stronger immunity than those who feel alone. So don't allow COVID to separate us. When COVID first appeared, we were informed by several Adventist doctors of 4 supplements that would help us keep our immune system strong. We heard it at the store, and it was also on 3ABN. Those 4 are vitamin C, vitamin D3, zinc, and NAC, which is N-acetylcarnitine. Now, in vitamin D, you need about 10,000 international units a day for maintenance dose. But if you're directly exposed or feel like you might be getting something, You can take up to 40,000 a day for a few days is fine. Very heavy or obese people need more. Since vitamin D is fat soluble, it goes to the fat cells right away. Thus, more is needed to circulate through the body to fight off the bad guys. So if you're heavy or have a lot of fat cells, you may need to take more to get the benefit. We have been following this regime for many months now and have not experienced any sickness. All of our employees were informed about these supplements that would help protect them, and most started taking them right away back earlier this year. No one at our store got COVID until December, when Johnson County was hit with a heavy wave of COVID. A few of our employees got it. All have either recovered or are recovering. In checking with the ones who got sick, we discovered they had quit taking their supplements. The rest of the employees who continued taking them are feeling fine and never got sick, despite their exposures to customers and staff. And I want to repeat that. The ones who continued taking those 4 supplements never got sick. We're told to wear masks, but we know the holes in the material of most of the masks you see are so large that viruses pass right through. But the masks cause us to breathe back in the air that we should be exhausting freely. In pre-COVID times, we breathed normally. We breathed in germs from each other and from everybody else and their brother when we went shopping or were in any large group of people. But we were building up our immunity then. Each of us carry a different variety of germs and bacteria, etc. When we're around others, we intake some of their expiration. But as our bodies get small amounts of these bacterial and viral invaders, our immune systems go to work and build immunity against them. Most people are not getting any of that now because they're very seldom around anyone. So their immune systems are getting weaker and weaker. I wear a mask when absolutely required, but that rascal is off the second I walk out the door. If it's not mandated, I don't wear one. Now, COVID does not like heat, so you can get in a sauna if you have access to one, but if not, like most of us, take as hot a bath as you can stand to up or increase your temperature. If you're showering, get a hot shower and get all cleaned off, and then turn the water to cool or cold for 30 seconds, and turn all around to get cold all over. Then turn it back on to hot for a couple of minutes, then back to cold for another 30 seconds. Do this 3 times, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, and be sure to finish with cold, and that will stimulate your immune system too. Now, if you do get COVID or have lung congestion, hot and cold compresses to the chest can be life-saving, and the same principles apply here. 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold, and so on, repeated at least 3 times. Now, when you are sick with COVID, you're probably not going to feel like doing any of these things, even eating or even staying hydrated. Everybody feels absolutely exhausted and they have no energy, and you will need help. If everyone else is scared of you, you could die without help or care. So that's why we need to be ready and willing to help our family, friends, and neighbors. But you have to decide. I just asked myself, what would Jesus do? Many of my sick friends would have died without the intervention of family and friends. In the Old Testament, people who had been around the sick and dying changed their clothes, bathed, and were cleaned at evening. If there was some sickness that required going to the priest, they did. But I've never heard of the priest who had to see sickness and disease often not being allowed to be around people or in the sanctuary. The same thing with the people after washing. But we have to decide what to do. But our church's attendance has certainly diminished. And we heard from a gentleman recently that the Southwest region has closed all of its churches. That's sad. Anyone wanting to learn about our church and visit would actually be up a creek if a church wasn't opened, or very discouraged if there were only few in attendance. How are people going to learn the truth of the 3 angels' messages unless we give it? And how will we share our faith if we don't leave our homes? How will we encourage each other if we don't meet? If ever there was a time when we all needed encouraging, it's now. Are we going to help? Or are we going to sit this one out? If this is the beginning of sorrows and pestilence, where are we going to be at the end? And this COVID business isn't going away soon. There's another one right around the corner after this one. It's a variation of the current one, and it's in the UK now. It's no more deadly, but it's more contagious. And I've heard there is another one after that. But you say, the COVID vaccine will protect me. I looked online Friday, and the statement from the pharmaceutical companies say, it may help keep you from getting COVID. It didn't say it would. And we've also read that it may contain aborted baby DNA. That's another topic for another time, though. But your best plan to keep from contracting COVID or any other disease or virus is to pray for God's blessings and maintain a very healthy immune system. I'm going to say that again. Your best plan to keep from contracting COVID or any other disease or virus is to pray for God's blessings and to maintain a very healthy immune system. And if you ever have any questions or need some help, feel free to get in touch with me. I'll be glad to share information. Have a wonderful, happy Sabbath. Love you all.